Ways to permanently get rid of ants. I'm at my wit's end writing this, but I've had a pest guy spray my downstairs twice, outside and upstairs once. I'm in an older rental house with a cat, so many options are a bit more difficult since I either have restrictions or don't want to make my cat ill. I've sealed every entrance I can find and emptied bottles of Raid spraying perimeters of windows. I have several terror traps around the house, many of which aren't even visited anymore luckily, but there are still clusters of ants coming to and from in places like my bedroom, and the dining room. My upstairs is carpeted and downstairs is tile and wood. All the bedrooms are upstairs. It's a super nice rental home other than the ant issue, and I'd like to stay here long term, until I leave the area or get a house. But the ants have me paranoid and ready not to renew my lease and just find a new place. Edit. Thank you for all the help. I'm adding some additional info since I realized I left some out. The ants are the small black ants I assume to be sugar ants, since they do seem to be attracted to terror traps. I've had said terror traps for about a week in the newest problem areas. The pest control specialist seems to have rid the house of the majority of ants, but there are some smaller area that still seem to be having issues. When I say sealed, I mean I took clear cork and went around where I saw cracks and holes, patching them up as best I could. Edit 2. After reading everyone's comments, I'm going to take a new approach with terror traps as well as try Advion ant gel and hopefully eradicate them from my bedroom. When I put down the ant gel, I'm gonna watch and see where they take it and hopefully be able to cork up yet another entrance. Thank you to everyone, and I hope this helps others with the same issue. Terror liquid ant baits is your answer. You can buy a pack for $6 at Home Depot. Only thing that has ever worked for me, and it works extremely well. Trust me, it works. It gets rid of the entire colony. Google it. Edit. Just know it takes 24-48 hours for it to work. You'll see a bunch of ants at first, even less than an hour of setting out the traps. You'll see a ton of them at first, which is completely normal. Do not worry, this means it is working. Just let them do their thing. The next day you'll see half as many ants. The day after that, they'll be gone. Boom. Andro ant bait and poison. It's like poisoned cracker crumbs, and once they find it, they pick up the crumbs and take them down the ant hole. Kills the queen. Kills the whole thing. Sometimes gone in a few hours. It's all I've used for 30 years. Advion ant gel, the only answer for ant issues. Diatomaceous earth. I stick my fingers in it. Flick most of it off, then flick the residue on my fingers around my garden. If applied too thick, they just walk around it. But when it dusted on, they plod on through and carry it home. Borax. The terror baits do work really well, just make sure to place them where your cat can't mess with it. Borax does the trick for me every time. Mix with sugar water and soak up a cotton ball, put it where you know they are. Let them feast. Within about 48 hours, they're wiped out. 4:1 ratio of borax and sugar. I make a dry mix and put it in a bottle. Add a few drops of water and shake it up. It's now a granulated bait. Hire an anteater. 20 mule team borax mixed 50-50 with sugar has been my go-to for sugar ant elimination for years. Cheap and works as well or better than the pricey store brand killers. Plus it is safe to use around critters. For non-sugar ants, like fire ants, I like to sprinkle food-grade diatomaceous earth around. So this sounds odd, but it's worked for me in the past. I spray them along their entire trail indoors with 91 isopropyl alcohol. They pretty much die instantly. But the trick is that you do not clean them up. The ants that enter after will begin cleaning up and removing their own dead. And when they've finished, they do not return. I recently read that Windex works well and gets rid of their scent trails. I had ants coming through my bedroom window a couple of weeks ago and tried it. Not only does Windex kill them on contact, the volume of new ants coming in drastically decreased. I sprayed several times a day for 3-4 days because a couple of rogue ants would still be crawling around, but that got rid of them for good. You have ants because they found a food source. It can be a potato chip, a piece of candy, another dead insect, it doesn't take much. You have a cat, its food is the food source for the ants. It only takes one piece of kibble to draw the ants in. Could also be the litter box. Get yourself some Syngenta Demon Max and mix 1 ounce into a spray bottle with water. Spray the areas where they are at. Lasts about 6 months. It sounds stupid because ants can walk anywhere, but pruning bushes and other plants so they're not touching the house can help a lot. Termidor SC, spray it on the ants and they will be gone. They go back to the nest and kill everyone off. I did this in my house with large black ants, and in my garden outside my beds on some big ant infestations, and they were gone the next day. Termidor is the answer. That shit will kill any insect. Place the taro traps wherever you see ants and keep replacing them as the ants empty them. Taro traps are made for the ants to take the bait back to the colony and it will wipe those colonies out. It took us over a year to completely get rid of our sugar ants. They had nested in the walls of our home. There was always a flare-up after each spray. They would continue to move through the house. It was a nightmare, but if you see less activity, count that as a good sign and keep fighting the good fight. We've been ant-free for about 2 years now. We have a pest control company come spray outside every month for maintenance. Isn't taro just borax and sugar water made into a syrup? I've used taro and I've also used borax and sugar made into a syrup placed in ramekins. Both have achieved success barring the continued expansion of colonies that continue to trail to my yard coming from my neighbor's property. Peace sign, heart, call me. If the sweet bait seems to stop working at some point, you need to get some granular protein ant bait. I find the trend to take the sweet bait and sometimes they survive and switch to looking for protein food, then you switch to the granular bait and they are done. This is for larger black carpenter ants. Ants infest via pheromones. That's why they walk in trails. Using soap and water, sponge down your kitchen counters every day for a week or 2. And either run your dishwasher every day, keeping it empty, or really keep attention to rising everything before putting it in the dishwasher. Also beware of your dry storage. Got sugar in the house? Those paper bags shed sugar everywhere. Ugh. Hope this helps and best of luck keeping things clean. Edit: when I suggest washing your counters every day, I mean all your counters. Under the toaster, microwave, blender. Gotta move everything. It's a little on the expensive side, but my granny swore by powdered Tide then you can just vacuum up the carnage. They love it, it kills them. You have to keep the bait out for them, keep replenishing it. It's all about killing off the ants and stopping them from reproducing, because once they start reproducing the work you have put in goes to waste. I keep 6 bait stations topped up at the boundary of our property. It took a while but eventually got them all and haven't had a problem since. If it's a rental house and you are keeping the inside clean and food free and it sounds like you are doing everything you can very diligently, then the landlord needs to tackle the issue, because if there is structural access then you're basically trying to staunch a leaking sieve. Get the landlord in and walk them through the whole house, keep video evidence of everything. I hope you get this sorted. It's a miserable situation to live in. I like to initially block their path and remove the scent trail with cleaner. Then you can apply diatomaceous earth and whatnot. For the blockage, tape off the entry points generously with masking tape and use double-sided adhesive tape as a second layer. The masking tape protects the underlying surface from the more aggressive adhesive. But beware of pet hair rendering the exposed adhesive surface ineffective. It then mostly just takes time for the colony to decide on a better path. I've sealed every entrance I can find. Next time you see ants, feed them. I know it sounds dumb, but they will take the crumb back and you can follow them and seal up the entrances that you haven't found yet. Pee on the ant hill. Anteater pet. I found the bug stop home barrier to be very effective against multiple pests. And then you don't have to put pesticide everywhere or near food, just perimeter of house.